estate investor. One of my favorite shows ever. I got 5 pages of notes. I'm not kidding. I took notes the whole time. I got 5 pages of little handwriting notes.
So if you're listening, folks, you can make some dough.
Can anybody get into this who's motivated?
1,000%.
Why aren't more people flocking into this?
This is the formula right here. It's called subjective. Bro, you're making me sick right now. Why would the bank let me do that?
But this guy seemed to come out of nowhere, and he's got an unbelievable following, tribe. He's got a top podcast. He's got the most popular TV show on A&E called Triple Digit Flip. But what's even more impressive is his heart to serve.
Pace Morby is the guy for all things real estate, and he does it all with something called creative financing.
It's going to be everything and anything you could ever want to know about creative financing.
When I watch Pace, you know what I see? I see a guy who got a whole universe of humans who told him, you can't do it that way. And he said, "Good, watch me."
Welcome to the podcast. I'm here with Jared Morrison, and we're going to be talking about quitting your job. When should you quit your job? Should you quit your job? For people like me, I never had a job. Nobody ever wanted to hire me. I'm kind of stupid. And I just jumped right into real estate and was a business owner from day one. Jared, however, had to make that hard decision of quitting your job at some point. Bro, when is your last day at your job?
My last day is October 11th.
October 11th. So we're a couple of weeks away from you having your last day at your job. The people, where do you work first and foremost?
So I work for a subcontractor. We sell and install insulation and fire stop for commercial buildings.
Okay, cool.
I'm an estimator and PM. So I honestly have a great job. I have a really great lifestyle, but it's just, I know I'll want more.
Is it just time? Like how did you know it's time to put in your 2 weeks or your 3 weeks or whatever it was?
It's for sure time. I mean, that's the biggest thing is that, I have a set amount of tasks that I need to get done, but then I'm also a project manager. So stuff always comes up to where when I'm focused on real estate, all of a sudden I get interrupted, and then everything that I've been trying to do just like kind of gets pushed.
Yeah. The challenge with construction is that being a property or project manager is that you have the unexpected pop up all the time. And so in fact, it gets to the point where you just expect the unexpected all the time.
Yeah.
So you have this thing looming over your head. So as you're over here working on your side hustle, your real estate business, your main job has basically no limit at when somebody could text you, call you, or some emergencies happening. Is that correct?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I would literally get done with all my bids like on Tuesday and have the rest of the week, but then just stuff pops up and all of a sudden I'm busy again. So
is that
getting derailed?
Is it stuff derailing you, or is it that you have creative avoidance and you create those things?
It's probably a little bit of both.
Interesting.
Honest. Yeah.
So is part of your decision saying, I need to get this distraction out of my way and I need to go full-time real estate? Is that part of it? Is like, it's also a distraction, not just that the job is drawing at you, but it also, do you just feel like you can't focus because you have this like thing hiding underneath your bed called the job?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that that's part of it. I mean, ultimately there's a lot that went into this decision, and right now with everything that you're doing and how much I believe in the community and your vision, it all just seemed to align perfectly. And so it was like, I know that I'm willing to put in the work. I know that, I met my business partner, David Moody, who's in the crowd. Shout out.
What up, David Moody?
And so it really just seemed like, we have a vision of what we want to do. We have the plan. We have the skill set. I was a CPA for 6 years. I'm inactive now, but I left that whole scene, the public accounting scene, just.
Holy crap. You were a CPA before you went and became an estimator and a project manager?
Yeah. Yeah. I was a CPA for 6 years. I worked for one of the big accounting firms, and I always knew that I wanted to retire early, but I knew I wasn't going to do it there. So I ended up getting out of that and going into sales to create a more balanced life and to be able to focus on real estate more. And I got exactly that. But then, you know, I was left, like, I golf like all the time. I have a great life. You know, I have that free time that I wanted, but still it just doesn't, it's not what I want to do. Like,
Interesting.
yeah.
Damn, dude, I wouldn't have guessed you were a CPA for 6 years. You got me sucked in. I'm like, all right, that decision, because you go to school for that, dude. You're not just like one day you go, all right, I'm going to be a CPA.
Yeah. Yeah. I got my bachelor's, I got my MBA, and then I studied for my CPA for 8 months. I had one chance to pass them all before we moved to South Korea. And so I studied for, 8 months straight.
Before you moved to South, bro, is this getting more layered? Like, what's up? This is great. This guy's like a freaking babushka doll. I just keep like opening up the little dolls and I keep seeing more. What do you mean move to Korea? What are you talking about?
Yeah. So my wife, we met in high school and we went to college together, and we'd always talked about traveling, but I was playing volleyball in college. So I wasn't able to leave. Everything was about volleyball. And so we made a pact that when we graduated, we'd find a way to travel. But, you know, when we graduated, we were thinking about joining like the Peace Corps, but, you know, we had this pet called student loans. And I remember when we got married at 22. And I remember her saying like, we need to look at these. And I didn't want to. Like I had terrible money habits up until that point. And so Korea was kind of like a compromise of, hey, we're going to get to see the world, and we're also going to be able to pay off debt. So we taught English in South Korea.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I did not think you were going there. So I lived in Korea for 2 years. The richest people I ever met in Korea were white people walking around teaching English. Because they pay for your room and board, they put you up, and they pay you 6 figures to go and teach English.
So it actually, no, I think combined we only made 50,000
combined.
Yeah, but what you're saying though, they took care of everything. In terms of like, you know, they'd pay for lunch, they paid for our internet, they paid for our home.
So you effectively probably made 125 or 150,000 bucks.
Exactly. Okay. Yes.
So
right.
you got to take that $50,000 and live in Korea, see Korea, and then pay off some of your debts.
I mean, we saw 10 countries. Like,
damn.
We traveled a lot. We took every chance we could to visit the surrounding Asian countries. And then, on our way there, we saw Europe, and on our way home, we saw Europe, and we still paid off 10 grand that year.
Wow. That is amazing, dude. So you get back, you decide, all right, I'm going to go into being a CPA, or did you pass your CPA stuff before you went to Korea?
I passed it before. If I didn't pass that last test, I would have had to fly to Japan to take it again, because you only have a certain window before your tests expire.
Okay. So you go to Korea for a year, you do that, you travel, you and your wife scratch that itch. You come back to America and you become a CPA?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And you work at a big law firm. You're there 6 years and you go, I'm not happy here. I'm locked into an office. I want to be somewhere where I'm out and about. You're an integrator, but you also have this thing of like, I don't want to be tied down.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
I'm weird. I'm like, I took the rocket test.
Yeah.
And I was like a 79 integrator, 72 visionary. So
you're high in both.
But my skill set is more of an integrator from the CPA world.
Yeah.
So then, that whole time we were paying off our debt. So I got super into Dave Ramsey. And
who's that?
Dave Ramsey is a personal finance, I would say, expert, where most people, like, if you follow his advice, there's no doubt that you're going to retire with money in your bank account. We followed that. We paid off.
Okay. This is a great question, because I feel like Dave Ramsey puts people in really shitty lives.
I was about to get to that.
Because I look at it and go, what's a retirement if you're retiring with 300 grand? What's a retirement if you're retiring with even $1 million? Like, if you think about in 20 years, how old are you?
33.
Okay, you're 33. You won't technically be retirement age for 32 more years, right?
Yeah.
So 65. So in 32 years, let's say you're on Dave Ramsey's plan. What was your guys' dollar amount you would have saved while you're in the Dave Ramsey world? What would you have retired with at 65?
I mean, probably like $3 to $5 million.
$3 to $5 million. Okay, so now when you adjust for inflation in 32 years, that's basically like $1 million in today's money.
Yeah.
$1 million in today's money will buy you basically like one decent house. right?
Yeah.
Not vacations, not traveling, not doing all the things you want. You're not going to be able to golf or have a country club membership. You're not going to be able to go to Starbucks every day if you choose to do so. Did you realize that while you're going through the Dave Ramsey world, like, this is really great for people that don't have good money habits, but there's no way I want to live my life at this low level of a bar?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, I had gotten into real estate through Bigger Pockets, and my father-in-law, he's had some rentals that I helped out a lot on. And, you know, I had this idea in my mind that I was going to try to retire by 40 with passive income. But that ultimately came from, I was listening to this podcast called Lifestyles Unlimited. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
I only listened to like a couple episodes, and I honestly didn't agree with a lot of what they said. But one comment that he made was, if you retire at 65 and you have a lot of money, are you actually wealthy? Because you have no time.
Yeah.
Like, you're 65, you can't do the things that you love to do.
Yeah.
And that was really like the mindset shift of like, why would I wait that long to have money when I could find a way to make more now? So that got me into real estate, which led me to doing buying conventionally, basically doing a live and flip, buying in areas that
I bet your wife loved that.
she's actually like
Kind of gangster.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, cool.
we talked about it because she, when we met, she had always envisioned herself like, we're a pretty like spiritual religious family. She had always wanted like she felt her calling was to stay at home.
Yeah.
And raise the kids. And then when the kids are out of the house or when they're at school, she wants to volunteer. And so basically I was like, well, I kind of also have these ambitions.
Yeah.
So we're going to be moving a lot. And so the past like 4 years, or 5 years, actually 6 years, we've moved almost every year.
Wow.
Yeah. And we either at the end of the year, we fix it up, or we either turn it into a rental or we sell it.
I love it. So the biggest challenge with Dave Ramsey that I have is that I look at him and I go, the man doesn't ever give anybody actual advice on how to make money. I sit there and I listen to his like call-in show, and he does give good advice to people, but it's mostly like joking criticism of like how big of a knucklehead they are and all that stuff. And this lady comes in and she goes, so my husband's dead. We had no life insurance. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. And he's like, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 2 years for free of my app, and that's going to help you calculate all your savings and all this. I'm like, bitch, did you not just hear what this lady just said? She has no income.
Yeah.
How is your app that budgets going to help her make more money? And I'm like, all right, I'm going to just spend the next like 3 weeks, 4 weeks on every flight, catching up with his last couple of months of podcasts. And I'm going to see if this man gives one advice on how to make more money. That is not what this guy does.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
He's really good at helping you budget and helping you like stop spending money on stupid stuff. But at some point you are like, dude, people's lives are not improving in terms of I'm stronger. I have more options. I provide more value to the economy. And that sounds like you go, I just got to go down a path where I actually can live my dreams instead of just save money in my piggy bank.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. I mean, and then, so I went down the rabbit hole of, Bigger Pockets, long-term rentals.
Mm-hmm.
And, after a couple years of having a couple rentals, I was like, man, I am not going to retire doing this. I mean, especially like you said earlier, kind of what you're walking into with rentals.
Yeah.
But you have one of those big expenses and it knocks out your cash flow for the year.
I was telling a story the other day. We had 3 properties this summer that had full pool redos, and they're rentals, and they're like the water's leaking through the pools, and we had to repair 3 pools, $60,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah.
Like having rentals is not a joke. It is definitely something that is guaranteed to make money long term, but you are going to have some of those months that just like take the wind out of your sails for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I bought 2 homes in Tempe, which a good tip for that, if you're buying in Tempe, make sure you do like a pipe inspection.
Oh yeah, old pipes.
Old pipes,
yeah.
you're likely to have to replace them. So just knowing that going in, which I did, but I mean, those are still expenses.
Oh yeah, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 just to redo the pipe underneath.
Yeah,
the
one
house.
was just 10,000. Yeah.
Yeah, fun. That's one wholesale deal, baby.
100%.
So what does your business look like now that you feel confident that you can walk away from your job?
So I'm actually wholesaling with my business partner, David Moody.
Okay.
I'm the dispositions guy. He's the acquisitions. We just had a master course with you on really where we need to head. But up until this point, we've been buying PPL leads, and then I've also been doing some wholesale JV deals.
Mm-hmm. How did you, when I gave you all that advice today in that class, it was probably like an hour long one-on-one with you and your partner. Did you feel like that was what you needed to hear, or did you feel like I didn't understand where you guys want to go?
That's 100% what we needed to hear. I mean, I feel like we were headed that way, but you just, if we're trying to go a straight course, maybe we're over here, and you just pushed us straight back in line.
Okay,
so
cool.
We really appreciate that. I mean,
here's what I would do, guys. DM Jared on Instagram, and he'll give you a link to the recording of that, so you guys can connect with him first and foremost. It was basically the question that came up today in our one-on-one was, hey, we want to spend money on PPL leads. The problem is those PPL is for people, Andre, I'm sure people are already asking, what's a PPL lead? It's very different than a BBL. A PPL is, nobody got the joke? Okay, got it. Scott got the joke. Paper lead basically means that you're paying another company to run Facebook ads and other types of ways to get sellers to call you, right? Inbound leads. They're expensive when you're choosing a very good city. They could be $200, $300 a lead. And they're cheap when you go nationwide, because you're going in tertiary markets that are really small and there's no competition. And so you can buy a lead for $50. But the problem is, okay, well, that kind of sucks. Now I've got one deal I'm comping in Bismarck, North Dakota. I've got another deal in Charleston, South Carolina. And it's just an imbalanced kind of world that you're creating. And I said, well, what's your budget? Like, if you don't have $10,000 to spend, this is going to be a really hard business to run. You'll have these moments of ebbs and flows where you'll bring in 2 or 3 deals. You got a lot of money. Then you'll have one bad month. You go, holy crap. Like, we took paychecks. Oh my gosh, PPL leads can eat you alive. So the advice I gave you is take your $3,000 budget, cut it down to 2, focus on one city. And then I gave you 4 other ways that you can go generate deals that you're like, you took a lot of notes. It seemed like you liked it.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, especially the probate thing. Like I told you, I knew that was a strategy. I just thought it was later down the road, but you really opened my eyes to, I mean, it's an entire business model.
It's an entire business model. Yeah. It is, I'd say it's more advanced from a standpoint of, like, if I'm brand new, should I go to probate attorneys if I've never done a deal before? No, definitely not. But a guy like you were a CPA for 6 years. I could never do that. I'm not smart enough to do that. You have all the credibility to walk into a probate attorney's office and say, hey, this is my history. This is now my business that we're doing. You'll rake in so much money on just the probate attorney side. No. And guess how many people do it? Nobody does it. 2 people I know do it. There's more probate attorneys and they don't know what to do with the leads. The probate attorneys have no clue what to do with those leads. They get somebody that calls them in, they turn into a professional referral service. So the family comes to them and goes, hey, Ryan, the first one that I ever worked with. Hey, Ryan, I've got, my parents passed away. We need to take the house through probate, blah, blah, blah. Do you have a painter? Do you have a good veterinarian? Do you have somebody that will take a boat off the property? Hey, do you have somebody to do estate sale? Hey, do you have a good contract? Hey, do you have a listing agent? That's literally what a probate attorney, when you talk to them and you ask them what's their biggest pain point, they're like, dude, all I do is give people referrals to individual contractors all day long. I don't even do my own probate job. I do referrals all day long. It turns into a babysitting service. So when I figured that out, I said, what if I just went to the probate attorney and said, when you get a client that needs referrals, I am a one-stop shop. I can do the estate sale, the painting, the junk removal, the this, the that, the blah, 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 blah. And I'll even give them a cash offer on the house and a creative offer. If I end up buying the house, I'll pay you $5,000. Probate attorney's like, you'll take all this BS off my plate, and if you buy the house, you'll pay me $5,000. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Literally never worked with more than 3 attorneys. Ryan, Giancarlo, and Rylis Dana. Those are the only 3 I've done, and I probably have done $3 million in revenue from those 3 people.
That's insane.
Crazy.
That's absolutely crazy.
No ad spend whatsoever. Craziest thing ever. And the sad thing is, at some point as you guys go to scale, one of your partnerships is going to have to focus on those relationships with those probate attorneys. You'll never be able to hand it off to an employee, because then they'll bail on you. But I love that. So you and your partner are going to focus on Arizona, correct?
Correct.
And why do you want to be in such a competitive market?
Because that's where all the buyers are, and that's where my competitors are. It's time to work with them.
It's time to work with them. And you're already doing JB deals anyway, which technically means that you're working with your competition, correct?
Yeah.
Let's say somebody wants a JB with you right now in the audience. How could they be helped by you and your partner? Can you help them close deals? Could you bring money to the table? Could you help them dispo? What can you do for them?
We can do all that. I mean, if you need help funding the EMD, if you need us to talk to the seller, especially with Subto deals, we can help you comp it. We can help you underwrite it. That's definitely one of my superpowers that I got from, the CPA world. I love Excel. Yeah. So.
Do you really?
Yeah, no, I really do. I have been.
Who else in here likes Excel? Just be honest. Okay. There's Allie. I was just going to say, it ain't me and you. Like, put me in front of a human. Okay.
I like that too, though. I mean,
you are good with humans.
But with Excel, I mean, I have been called a freak in the sheets.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
A freak in the sheets.
Speaking
of freak in the sheets, what does your wife think about you quitting your job?
Honestly, like, that has made it so easy. She's been on this journey with me, and she supported everything that I've done. I mean, when we were in Korea, the plan was to stay 3 years, and we only ended up staying 1 because of me, because of my ambition, wanting to get back, starting, the CPA route,
making money,
yeah,
building a career, putting your name out there, getting out there, doing cool stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so, we found, I've made it up to her for sure. We figured out travel hacking. We travel all the time. We just got back from the Olympics and went to Italy. And she did all of that. She's taken over the travel side. She did all of that, and all we spent was like $400 on taxes for our flights. I mean, obviously we spent money while we were there. Like, we lived pretty well once we're there, but in terms of like flights and hotels, we figured out how to travel for pretty much free.
How many babies you guys have?
We have 2.
You have
one
2
on the way.
One on the way. Are you guys going to be done at those numbers, or what do you guys got going on?
The plan's always been 4. Yeah.
So I guess worst case scenario, you could always go back to being a CPA. You could worst case scenario also just go be a project manager again.
Yeah. My company loves me. I mean, I like my company. I like the people that I work with, but again, I just feel pulled to real estate. I feel pulled to your vision and what's going on, and I want to be a part of it. And I think when I have my full attention on real estate, I think there's a very high probability that I'm never going to go back to work.
I love it. That's a great answer, because other people would have said, yeah, that's my plan B.
No, I mean, honestly, the way that I look at it, I've read a lot of like, personal development books, and one thing they say a lot is they talk about like your deathbed or your funeral. And I've ran that in my head of like, if I were laying on my deathbed and I was like, okay, when you were 33, you took that chance and you lost all that money. Do you regret it? No. I still have all the skill sets that I have, like, and I'm sure I'm going to learn a ton. I mean, I'm willing to risk it all. Everything that I've built, I'm willing to risk for, the life that I want.
And to satisfy that urge and that calling that you have.
Yeah. It's worth it 100%. My wife trusts me, and it's really cool.
What a gangster wife, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. We do a really good job of like, vision casting our life. And
what is your meeting? Do you guys have family meetings? Do you guys pray together? You go to church together? Do you guys have family meetings?
Not as much as we should. I mean, that's probably the toughest part is like, it's like I get off work. I wake up at like 4 a.m. I'm out of the house, and then I get off work and I'm doing real estate stuff. I spend an hour and a half with the kids, and then it's like my bedtime.
Yeah.
So that's the toughest part. So I'm really excited. I've had to make a lot of sacrifices in terms of like, I mean, I know this sounds silly, but fantasy football was hard to give up. I mean, I've done it since I was like 12. And
why did you have to give it up?
Because I think that if you want to be really good at something, like, what are you willing to give for it? And for me, like, I love playing sports. I have a ton of hobbies. Like, I love watching sports, but for me, like, when we moved to Korea, I kind of figured this out. every time I turn on the TV to watch a game, I'm watching someone else live their dream. I'm not living mine. So,
Gosh, that's a bar right there. Gosh dang.
yeah. So,
speaking of which, I'm watching you live your dream right now. What am I doing here right now?
I know 100%. I mean, and it's all accelerated super quickly. I've kind of been the shiny object guy. I'm in every one of your groups. I joined Subto. I, didn't think I wanted to wholesale. Didn't think that it fit my personality. So I went to Gator because I'm like, well, I'm good with money. But then I don't know that I kind of realized with Gator that I could do that later on, but that wasn't how I was going to get out of my W-2. So I joined Top Tier because I'm like, man, all I did for 6 years was look at contracts.
Yeah, you were basically a transaction coordinator.
Essentially, but yeah. I was in audit so basically like when companies need an audit for investors or for the SEC to basically show that their books are right enough for people to make decisions off them.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at all these past transactions. And that was another thing is when I was a CPA, I'm like, man, I'm looking at all these transactions that happened a year ago. I want to be the one making these transactions, not learning about them. So yeah, I went into Top Tier. I actually went to Squad Up to network and get more business. And that's where I ended up meeting my business partner, Magic Man David Moody.
I love that. How good was Squad Up Summit, by the way?
It was amazing. I mean, it's literally just that event. I mean, all this is like leading up, and I do believe it's God's plan. I do believe like I've been putting it out there in the universe, but I've had some like partnerships that haven't worked out, which, has been upsetting. And I didn't go to Squad Up to find a partner. I didn't go to wholesale. I literally just went there because I felt called to go there. And I ended up leaving with the exact business partner I've been looking for. We have the same values. We have the same work ethic. We have a
Who's better at golf, though?
He is. Sadly, he is. Don't even get me started on that. Golf has been the most humbling thing I've ever done because I've been an athlete my whole life. I played basketball through high school. I played volleyball in college. I competed that was another thing that I've had to give up is playing sand volleyball. I used to compete semi-pro, but that's another thing. Like you can't have everything that you want, but you can have anything. So I've chosen my family, I've chosen real estate, I've chosen God, and I've chosen my health, and everything else, has kind of gone to the wayside.
So you're not great at golf?
No.
Okay.
No, it did not translate, but I have gotten a lot better. Like I went from because I golf a lot at my job. I went from I think my drive was like 180.
Oh my gosh.
So now I can hit it like 265, 270.
That's phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, but it was just all, golf's all about technique and finesse, and I don't have that in golf until recently.
You'll get it. We lost half the people in the audience that are not golfers. What questions do we got over there? Andre 3K, we got any comments that we like over there? So you feel comfortable leaving your job. You've got a great partner. I feel like the balance is there as well because you've got a partner that's more like go out, knock on the door, close the deal, get the contract, probably more on the aggressive side on the sales.
Oh yeah.
And you're on the side of like, let me organize, let me make sure that things are all taken care of on this side. I've got to make sure that the transactions are happening. The money is balanced. I got to make sure the leads are coming in. I got to make sure the calendar is all set, that I see all the opportunities coming in the pipeline. You're basically the pipeline manager, and he's the person that goes out and closes the deals. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. And, being a CPA, you kind of see how the business is run. And then when I switched to sales, I actually got to be part of running it. Mm-hmm. So I've seen a lot of sides to the business, which, yeah, I'm really excited. When you were talking about businesses today, like that didn't put me off. Like I want to do that. I've already had to have some tough conversations, and obviously it's not easy, but if you feel like you can make an impact, then you're doing a disservice to people if you don't follow it. So
has anybody given this man congratulations for leaving his job? Let's give this guy some freaking love. Now, it's not for everybody. Quitting their job is not for everybody.
No, it's not.
Because I see people go, I'm going to go focus on wholesale before they've acquired a lot of the transferable skills you've acquired. and they go quit full-time flip, full-time wholesale. It's the only thing they can rely on with no skills. They're learning on the job. They haven't learned I mean, you've learned commitment, dedication, you've learned numbers, you've learned flows, you've learned management, you've learned people, you've learned sales, you've learned all sorts of things. Like when you're going out and doing estimates, you're learning sales.
Yeah.
And so these are all transferable into your wholesale, all of the things that you're going to be doing with your partner. You have a lot of comfort. So guys, this is not for everybody. I see people that sadly will go quit their job well before they have any revenue or even hope of revenue. So you got to be very careful. In fact, I would tell you guys to reach out to Jared and say, hey, Jared, can I collaborate with you? Can I send you opportunities? Can I have you comp or underwrite my deals? Hell, I even have money I might even want to put to work with Jared. Jared, how can people get a hold of you?
So my Instagram is at Jared Morrison REI. YouTube channel, I guess they're not going to get a hold of me there. You can email me at jared@goodguyrei.com. Or, I'll give you my phone number. You can text me or call me at 480-334-5581. I definitely feel like, being in the accounting world.
I did that one time and I'll never do it again, but congratulations. I still, 5 years later, I was on a podcast 5 years ago and I gave my cell phone out. I get a text message almost every day. Is this Pace Morby? From the same podcast from 5 years ago, almost every freaking day.
I definitely, though, I feel called to talk to people who are debating it, because this isn't like, a lot of people are just saying like, oh, he's quitting his job. But it's like, no, this has literally been in the works since I started paying off my debt. I figured out finances, started building a nest egg, started building a real estate portfolio, knew I wanted to get out, started exploring avenues, had that shiny object syndrome, and, played into it to figure out what I actually wanted to do.
I love that.
And then made the decision once. I look at it as the probability of success. There's no guarantees, but with everything we just listed, there's a high probability that we figure it out, especially if I'm willing to risk everything. I have a few-year runway. If I can't figure it out in a few years, I should be in a W-2.
Maybe. But I think you've already figured it out. You got a good partner. You guys are going to make a bunch of money. Anything on your sheets that you want to cover? Anything we forgot?
No.
Did we hammer it all, bro, without looking at your notes one time?
We hammered it. We got it all done.
I love it. Give out your cell phone number one more time.
480-334-5581.
Okay. I love it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Get Creative. We appreciate you. Andre 3K, what you have to do is you have to go in the upper right-hand corner and you have to type in end stream. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on another episode of Get Creative. Congratulations, bro.
Thanks, dude. Thank you for everything that you do for me. You've literally changed my life.
I'm just a good friend, bro. That's all it is. And you're a good friend too.
At Jared Morrison REI.
But not spelled like the way you would spell Jared, but like, and Morrison might be spelled incorrectly as well. It's funky spelling to a certain degree. You're JARED MORRISON.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. Jared Morrison REI.
Yeah.
No underscores.
Nope.
Okay, you guys will figure it out. You guys will DM the man. And what I would suggest is get the training that I did today for you and your partner, that one-on-one that I gave you guys for an hour, and tell people, hey, DM me if you want to see this one-on-one that Pace gave us, like a roadmap for exactly, and you'll get tons of people to DM you.
All right. Sounds good.
Guys, we'll see you in another episode of Get Creative.